So yeah, let's shift a little bit to family behavioral therapy, and I'm trying to figure out how does that help with sports performance, because I know you tie both of them in together.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, obviously, you know your stuff, and you're familiar with the literature that's out there. And see, that's a thing that I think that a lot of people, you know, they forget about. Is ultimately we want to be implementing programs that are supported by scientific studies. And that's where TOPS comes from. It was based on family behavior therapy, which was shown to be really effective. It gives improvements, like we focus on relationships and improving them for the individual. It was actually developed with kids that had different stressors in their environment, low income kids that were having a hard time at school, things like that. And so it generalized to then adults. Even though it's more effective in adolescents, it's also been shown to be effective in adults. And what it is kind of helping with relationships, because if you think about it, like 90% of our problems are relationship based. And so we started there. Then we kind of got into like the actual performance for them was school, doing well in school or work and so there's things that help them to get jobs. It's very similar to a program we're doing in Las Vegas, where we help kids that are in low income communities to work in a mentorship position for 4 days out of the week. On the fifth day, we teach them how to take initiative, how to go beyond what a typical person, at their level would be expected to do, like just those little things, like going up and asking, is there anything I can do? Stuff like that. And, so we implemented that into our program, how to get a job, how to do well on the job, or school. And then we also taught them like self-control strategies, that were focused on avoiding substance use, or saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing, vandalism, things like that. And then we also worked on their environment to give them environmental control. So like who they hang out with, people, places, situations that were going to be consistent with their goals. And so we did that, and we showed it to be extremely effective. And the National Institutes of Drug Abuse and the National Institutes of Mental Health were the big supporters to help us to develop those programs, big NIH grants. Then what we did was, our idea was, well, hey, we could apply this to athletics. That's where my athletic background, I started to get really interested in that. And I thought, okay, well, I'd like to do family behavior therapy. But when we started working with athletes in our pilots, we started to figure out, that pathological model, focusing on making things better in a, like reducing pathology, it just wasn't working. And I was really sensitive to that. So, as an ex-athlete myself. And so we started switching everything to optimization focus. So family behavior therapy gives the skill sets, but in a different application, an application of positivity, far beyond. I was just talking with someone today from a school system. I was trying to tell her, she says, oh, that's strength-based. And I'm like, yeah, it is strength-based, but that's almost gotten used to being just a buzzword. And this is far beyond strength-based, because this is optimization-based. So it's not just being a strength, it's being the optimum strength. And I think that people dig that. People want a part of that. They're going to seek out those kind of programs. And so that's what we're shifting to, optimization focus. We're shifting over to talking about people accomplishing goals across their lifespan, like all different areas, showing how those things are consistent. So, like what I just talked with you about was, say, for example, with Ben Simmons and how he might be thinking about basketball. That might be the same way that he thinks about how he's going to talk with the GM when it comes down to things that are relevant that way, or maybe his wife, or I don't know if he's even married, but like his significant other perhaps, or
He's
his
single.
children. Huh?
I believe he's single.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
his girlfriend or boyfriend, who knows? I mean, like that. Basically, right? He's going to talk with
Yeah.
someone that's going to where that might be relevant. The way he's thinking, if it's clear, neutral, positive he's going to function well in all those areas of his life. And so it's the way of thinking that we'd be working on, not so much, the way that the outcomes are. And so we're always going to focus on the process, not the outcome. And if the process is going well, the outcomes will follow. And that makes it a wonderful life, because then the passion comes in, so maybe, that might be something that, an athlete could strive for. So anyway, we kind of adjusted the goals to be more talking about the process as compared to the outcomes, from family behavior therapy to the optimum performance program sport. And we started to also bring in all these other things, instead of saying that people, places, and situations that were focused on, like spending more time with them. We started talking about how to spend more optimal time with them. So taking advantage of the moments that you're with, in your environment. And there's a few other things too, of course, but that was the major difference, between this evidence-based, skill-based program and then taking that to the next level, in my opinion. And I think that that's where we're going to see all of our programming. Right now, the Olympics is talking, you're hearing the outcry of athletes saying, their mental health is a concern because they're allocating so much attention to the sport, performance. But, and that's definitely a step in the right direction. But I'm going to enjoy when I start hearing the statements about how they received optimization types of trainings, and they're getting these skill-based interventions, and how those things help them to overcome, because that's what people really want. It's one thing to feel, and to see an athlete going through these things and to say, okay, I feel those things too. I've experienced those things, and that's important. But the next step is to then say, okay, I've been through these evidence-supported, scientifically supported programs. They work, and now I got hope. And I think that that's what people want. And to reduce the pathology is limiting. We don't want to be limited in anything. That's the American dream, is to fulfill, to optimize.
Yeah, I like that. To give people hope. That's what they're looking for. That's a good one right there.